everybody, and welcome back to another video. Today we have a topic I wish I could have gotten to just a little sooner, but it's one that I still believe needs to be discussed. The very popular Wings of Fire Roblox game has now been made free, and this is a big change for the community, whether you play video games or not. There are many positives and negatives to this change, which I'll be diving into in this video. For those who don't know, back in 2019, a group of fans, going by the developer name 𝙈𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙁, created a Wings of Fire adaptation on a gaming platform known as Roblox. It's a site and app where you're able to make your own games for players all around the world to try out. The game has spiked in popularity after quite a while of being left forgotten, but has also come with some controversy recently. So today, I'll be talking about what happened to the game and why this is important. But before we begin, a huge shout out to my patrons. 𝙈𝙤𝙤𝙍𝙁, 3Moon, 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙁, Fizz, Thistle, 𝙈𝙊𝙍𝙁, and PyroNuke. Thank you all so much for supporting me. Links to social medias are in the description down below. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. The Wings of Fire Roblox game is, again, entirely fan-made. For many years, it stayed in its alpha stage, but players could pay 60 Robux, about 75 cents USD, to gain access. That was always the plan. Anyone who was able to purchase it could play it in the early stages. The developer team worked further on making it better and more polished, and eventually at an unknown point in time, the game would be open to all. However, about 2 weeks ago by the time of me posting this, the WoF Roblox game suddenly became free. Anyone who has a Roblox account can now hop on and roleplay as Wings of Fire Dragons in a special experience. But what caused this sudden change? Well, it's not because the game naturally left its alpha. In fact, it had been lacking in updates for a few years, and it looked virtually abandoned to many. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't a good thing that brought forth the Wings of Fire Roblox game into being free. The problem was because of copyright. Honestly, I'm not too sure why this wasn't expected by the team. Roblox is incredibly strict about its copyright rules, and a lot of corporations have been very particular about what from their projects is allowed to be used elsewhere. An example would be the company behind Pokemon straight up removing Roblox games off the platform if they include any Pokemon characters or names. I know this because this particular example actually happened to me when I was younger. A similar situation happened with the Wings of Fire Roblox game. Scholastic and Tui approached the developer team, but actually with some reason. They had seen what the creators had accomplished and knew what it meant for fans. So they offered this deal. The game can stay up just as long as it's no longer monetized. And with this, unless they wanted to take the game down entirely, the team had to make everything free. Not just access to the game itself, but also every game pass, just any way they could earn real-world profit. This, undoubtedly, came with some consequences, both good and bad. While I'll start off by discussing the negatives, there are a good amount of pros. However, I titled the video the way I did because a lot of the cons weren't really initially thought of by most people. Everyone just rushed to be excited for the most part, not considering the true effects of this change. The biggest elephant in the room about the game being free is the fact that everybody who spent money had their Robux wasted. Now, for the people complaining about the entry fee, that concern doesn't really hold a lot of weight. It was always made clear that the game would eventually be free, so your 75 cents wouldn't have lasted you forever. I'm more so referring to the game passes. The way the game would wind up becoming free was unplanned. Sure, access would eventually be available to all, but the game passes were never intended to be free. And there were lots of them. If you're someone like me, you spent hundreds of Robux on the different cosmetics and access features. It's especially frustrating when you consider some of them were pre-orders, and yet will never get that early access to the Pantalon areas. Obviously, this whole situation was unintended, so you can't really blame the developer team. But you also can't blame people for being upset by this. Money was wasted that rewards were promised forthwith. Some good news is that the developers have said they're planning on giving some kind of compensation. Whatever this might be, I'm not too sure. It can't be anything probably bigger than a special badge next to your name or something similar. But time will tell, and we have to be patient. Another negative that unfortunately comes with the game being free is one that can be part good and bad. Leaning more to the downside for this specific point, the fact that the game is available to all can be a bad thing. Roleplay games have a very dedicated player base. Think of something like Bloxburg, which costs money to play. The people joining servers are more serious about role-playing, actually wanting to get their money's worth. It stops a lot of trollers from trying to get in, as why would they spend real money just to mess around and ruin someone's experience? It happened way less often. Tight-knit communities end up being built from this. The players have understood roleplay courtesy, and it works out very well. However, with the WoF game being free now, the opposite of this has started to happen. People who are unexperienced roleplayers don't quite understand the rules and the behavior of how to join and participate in a roleplay. Plus, it's brought in a lot of people who are unaware about Wings of Fire, but don't want to learn. People choose this game over all the other Dragon roleplay games on Roblox because it's Wings of Fire. So for some people who refuse to learn with the series or to properly roleplay with its players, it'll be a frustrating experience on both ends. Imagine you're trying to play with someone, but they have no idea about any of the tribes. But I've been speaking on a lot of the negatives, which yes, there are a surprising many of them. However, there is a lot of good that still comes with this update. For one, what I just mentioned as a bad point can be a good one. Let me explain. Yes, a lot of people will find the game who don't actually know Wings of Fire. But what if this makes them interested in the series instead? We're going to get so many new fans, whether it's people inviting their friends to play with them finally, or your average Roblox user stumbling upon the game. If they find it interesting, what's stopping them from checking out the books? I think this will be a lot of good advertising for Wings of Fire. There will be a spark of revival interest in the series, and unite all fanwings and friends alike. Another good thing is that the game is finally being brought back. For a long time, we experienced a major lack of updates. But with this renewed interest in skyrocketing player count, bringing the game back to its glory days, the WoF Roblox experience is here to stay. Right off the bat, we got a ton of updates, like the leaf wings being added, new animations for old tribes, and so much more. Might even be in store for some past promised updates, like new maps. It's good to see this game finally feel alive again. The servers are back with a new fresh sense of life, and the developer team is hard at work on still delivering. By the way, I absolutely love the leaf wing model. It's so pretty, and there are gorgeous color options to choose from. With so much now being added, I can't wait to see what else we get down the line. Personally, here are just a few things I'd love to see later on. I know a few of these they once tried to work on but had to abandon due to complexity, but they're still cool ideas. I would do anything for a better cave system. More variety in their designs and locations, additional decorations, advanced editing, and just some cool UI and uses for the caves would be absolutely perfect. Also, we need more accessories. Especially with how many tribes are currently in the game, it would be wonderful to have additional ways to customize your dragon. Outside of these, there could also be more injuries, birthmarks, and even disability options. Additionally, imagine some kind of combat mode. I know this was scrapped a long time ago, but still, imagine how amazing this could be. Even just a simple fighting system for players would be sick. It could be used for some roleplays, or even just for fun. Maybe you could even level up your dragons, allowing for better and easier hunting. Speaking of hunting, imagine a way to do more than fish. That would be so cool. Obviously this isn't a survival game, but it adds some optional life to RPs. Plus, it would be enjoyable to have something to do outside of just interacting with other players. Of course, I'm excited for the day that we'll get more kingdoms. Maybe many years down the line we could even get a detailed Sky Kingdom revamp? Maybe? There's so much that could be added to this game, and I think now it finally has a bright future ahead of itself on Roblox yet again. But what do you guys think? Have you gotten to play the Wings of Fire game yet? If so, what do you enjoy doing? Let me know down below. If I was unaware, a while back I did a video giving off some free-to-use roleplay ideas / story prompts, so go check that out if you're interested in starting a roleplay. I also plan on doing a video about how to craft your own Wings of Fire OC to play with people with. And real quick, if you're curious about roleplay courtesy, here's just a few quick tips. Don't just go up to random people who are busy and ask them to roleplay. You can send out server ads through the chat and sit in Queen's Coast Arena if you wish to start or join a storyline. Don't interrupt people, and don't force elements of the tale. Let things happen naturally. Don't just dodge every attack. Be respectful of the person you're playing with and see what they want to do too. You guys can work for a nice balance. And quite possibly one of the most important of them all, don't just randomly leave. If you want to continue the RP another day, just let the person know. You have to head out. Don't just abandon things, even if you're bored. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!